Alright folks, welcome back to Glasgow News. Alright, okay, so as you can see I'm on the Sun today. Now this particular article is, I don't know, it's more of a hit piece on this guy here. This guy is, his name's Dmitry Kiselyov. And apparently Dmitry's, he's a TV personality, just like we have TV personalities here. And he's apparently, according to the Sun and the journalists or reporters, I wouldn't call them journalists, just reporters, they say he's bonkers, basically. And we'll go into why he's bonkers. But I want to touch on a couple of things that are more serious, in particular about this machine here. That's a nuclear submarine, right? But we'll just talk about that in a wee minute. But anyway, let's get into the article. On the brink, Putin's propaganda chief threatens the West with nuclear destruction as Russia's arsenal put on high alert. Now that's a fact, folks. All Russia's nuclear forces, including its submarine fleet, nuclear submarine fleet, are on the highest alert it's ever been. Vladimir Putin's propaganda chief has threatened the West with nuclear. I said that already. News anchor Dmitry Kiselyov told viewers across Russia's 11 time zones. Now think about how big your country's got to be to have 11 time zones. That the West would be blown to smithereens with more than 500 nuclear warheads if it continued to threaten Moscow. Okay, right, well, now that's what he's talking about there. Kiselyov warned that Russian subs had more than 500 nukes locked and loaded towards the West. Now that's a fact. But you may or may not know that Russia actually has 6,500 nuclear weapons. 6,500. You know, while I was reading this, and they do go on to say that the guy's bonkers, but a more serious thought occurred to me, and that would be this. Given the tone of this article, it's just a wee example, right? But given the tone that these two reporters are speaking in, that's been amplified worldwide. If you've watched the news tonight, I don't watch it, but if you've watched the news tonight, you'll have seen something on the news, if it's the BBC, that will be completely speaking from the Western perspective. It will not give any Russian perspective. It will not try and explain how we are where we are. No matter what your views are, it won't try to do that. What it will be doing will be focusing your anger on the enemy that's been created for us, and that's Russia. Now, whether you believe Russia has any legitimate concerns regarding its security is neither here nor there. That's why we are where we are today, because certain people discounted Russia's genuine concerns about its security, its borders, the amount of weapons that it's up against, its borders, and the fact that the country that Germany and Napoleon's armies used to head into Russia, Ukraine we're speaking about here, is going to be part of NATO and therefore able to attack Russia right on its border. Now that's the background, alright, of what's going on at the moment. Plus you add to that, there's been an 8-year war going on in Ukraine. 8 years it's been going on. The BBC and CNN don't really talk about that, do they? They loved talking about the Syrian war, didn't they? Oh, every day you got about it. It only went on for 5 years. Every day it was in the news. But there's been a war going on in Ukraine for 8 years. I don't think you knew about it, did you? And that's Ukrainians against Russians. Anyway, regardless of that, let's focus on the submarine, because this is what the guy's talking about. Now, apparently the Russian submarine fleet has a potential of 500 nuclear warheads. Now, they don't have 500 missiles. That would be an awful lot of submarines. They don't have that many missiles. But each missile has multiple warheads. So in other words, if they fire one missile at the UK, each warhead will be able to go towards a target. Say there's 10 warheads on each missile. Now 10 warheads would be enough to take the UK back to the Stone Age. That includes Scotland. What do I mean by that? Well, okay, let's start with Scotland then. We've got a nuclear submarine base here. There's the base itself, it would get one nuclear weapon, right? That's 1 out of 10. The nuclear weapons dump that's in the same area would get another one, that's 2. So within a 30-mile radius of that, it would be completely obliterated. Alright, Glasgow Airport would get 1, that's 3. Edinburgh Airport would get 1, that's 4. Lossiemouth Air Base or Lookers would get 1, so that's 5. So that's Scotland obliterated. That's our main population centres destroyed. Radiation poisoning everywhere. Next, London. Now we've used 5, there's still another 5 coming in. London would get, I would say, a minimum of 3 nuclear weapons hitting it. Lakenheath, American Air Base at Lakenheath would get 1, that's 4. And one of these Spitfire bases would get 1, that's 5. That's 10. Now I think you would get 20 coming this way, but 10 would destroy the country. If you add another few, Manchester, Liverpool, Birmingham, that's all your population centres. Britain's finished. There's no power, there's no electricity, there's no gas, there's no railway, there's no motorways, there's no fuel, there's no food. You think it's bad? I think COVID was bad with food. Getting toilet rolls. Just think what it'll be like when there's nothing. All the shops will be raided. The police will not be there. The police will be away looking after their families, what's left of them. Right? The military will be the same. They'll not be able to help you. Every man for themselves. And if you've not got a shotgun, people will come to your house and they'll take everything you've got. Any jewellery, gold, because money will be worthless. So they'll be looking for precious metals, food and fuel. That'll be the currency. But they don't talk about this in this article. They don't talk about the fact that the guys in the submarines, now let's think about the guys in the submarines now, right? They're travelling deep, right now as we speak, that entire fleet's travelling deep along with our own. They're trying to evade the American, British, French submarines, attack submarines that are looking for them. If they find them, they're following them, monitoring them. And every now and again, these submarines will come shallow to get a message via satellite to find out what their orders are. Because if they're on the highest alert, what does that mean to a nuclear submarine captain and his crew? Well, what that means is, it doesn't just mean you're on alert, get ready. What it means is the orders on the highest alert will mean to transit to a specific area of operation, which will be near the coast or within range of the potential targets for that boat. And the West will be scouring the oceans looking for them. Now they guys don't know what's happening in Russia. They guys don't know what's happening in Ukraine. Right? They don't know that the Western world's media is encouraging NATO and the likes to attack Russia. They don't know that Germany, of all places, has just offered 1,000 anti-tank missiles and 500 Stingers for aircraft. Germany, of all people. The damage, the millions, the 32 million people that the Germans killed in Russia. Can you imagine what the Russians think of that when they heard that news? Can you imagine how angry the Russian people are? Can you imagine how angry the Russian military is? The Russian Navy? And maybe the Russian submarine captain? That's what we're playing with. That's what the article should be about. No poking fun at a guy who's saying what he's wanting to say about nuclear weapons. He's telling the truth from his perspective. Now he may be being utilised by propagandists, but so is the Sun. So is the BBC. So it's all these Western. So instead of talking about him, talk about the people that are under the ocean in the dark right now, and quiet, wondering what the hell's going on. And pray that there's no breakdown in communication. Pray that there's no an order given out that's later rescinded, that doesn't get through. That's what responsible politicians should be talking about. But we don't have that. We've got a First Minister who just talks a load of shite. That's what we want politicians to talk about. The dangers that we're now in. Over what? What's this all over, by the way? Well, let me tell you, it's a wasteland called Ukraine. A place that's full of Nazis and gangsters. That's full of oligarchs that just steal all the money. The people don't get the money, they steal it. Their president is an ex-comedian called Zelensky. He was a comedian, a TV comedian. Look him up. I mean, America's got a lot of skin in this game. You know, Joe Biden, personally, look it up. The irony is this. We had 5 years, or nearly 5 years of Trump, didn't we? And all through those 5 years, it was Russia, 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 Russia. So they made Russia their enemy. And Russia could see this. What do you think the Russian people are thinking? They're blaming us for everything. They're blaming us for everything. Just a wee video on the reality of the situation, folks. You know, there's nothing in Ukraine for anybody. Ukraine should have declared itself a neutral territory. Right? That stops everything. If they make themselves a neutral territory and say, we don't want to be part of NATO, you can be part of the EU and the West, whatever you want. But we're not going to be part of NATO because look what's happened here. So we want to come to an arrangement. You leave us alone and we'll leave you alone. And we can all move on. Anyway, folks, if you like the content, hit the like button, share and subscribe, because that's definitely all I've got to say about that. Peace out. How dare you!